Imagine two students studying for an important exam. One dreads every moment, procrastinates, and barely gets through the chapter. The other, while not naturally inclined to study, finds ways to stay engaged, rewards themselves after each completed action, and stays motivated. What's the difference? The answer lies in how they use their brain's natural reward system. Motivation isn't just about willpower, it's science. It's about understanding how our brains respond to rewards, dopamine, and mindset shifts. And today, you're going to learn how to trick your brain into staying motivated, even when you don't feel like it. Our brains are wired for rewards. Every time we achieve something, whether big or small, our brain releases dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter. This dopamine rush reinforces our behavior, making us want to repeat the action. Think about a child learning to ride a bike. The first time they successfully pedal without falling, they get excited. Their brains reward them, and they want to try it again. The same principle applies to you. When you see progress, you feel motivated. So how do we leverage this reward system? We start by choosing meaningful incentives, whether it's treating yourself to a coffee after finishing a big task, taking a short break after an hour of deep work, or celebrating milestones in your goals. Next, use micro rewards. Instead of waiting until the end of the project to celebrate, reward yourself with small wins along the way. Number 3, make rewards immediate. Remember, the closer the reward to the achievement, the stronger the motivation reinforcement. Whenever we're talking about motivation, we must talk about dopamine as well. And here's the thing about dopamine. It doesn't just reward you when you succeed, it also fuels anticipation. It's what makes you excited for upcoming achievements. The key is learning how to intentionally boost dopamine to keep your motivation high. So how do we naturally do that? First, break big goals into smaller wins. Every small victory triggers dopamine, and when your dopamine is triggered, you're going to keep yourself on track. Another way is to engage in activities that you enjoy. Pursuing hobbies and learning new things and spending time with loved ones naturally increases your levels of dopamine. Another way is to track progress visually. Listen, I don't care if it's a checklist, I don't care if it's a calendar, a progress bar. There's gold in being able to see how far you've come. This is why people who track their fitness progress, reading goals, financial milestones, stay more engaged. They're simply leveraging their dopamine system. One of the biggest obstacles to motivation is procrastination. And I have a video on procrastination that you want to check out. But briefly, know that we've all been there, staring at a daunting task, feeling paralyzed by the sheer effort that it's going to require. That area is where procrastination thrives. But the solution isn't to force yourself to work harder. Myron Golden says, working harder isn't the key to success. It's the key to exhaustion. And his point was work smarter, not harder, because doing more of what's already not working is just going to make you exhausted. So the solution is never to force yourself to work harder, rather to make tasks feel smaller and more manageable. 2 powerful techniques. One is the Pomodoro technique. And this technique is to work in focused 25-minute blocks with short breaks in between. This reduces overwhelm and provides frequent hits of dopamine each session. The next technique is the 5-minute rule. If task feels overwhelming, commit to doing just 5 minutes of it. You can do anything for 5 minutes. And the thought process behind this technique is often the hardest part is starting. But once you begin, momentum kicks in, making it easier to continue. Think of a task that you've been putting off. Write that task down and write down one small step that you can take towards achieving it. And commit to working on it for 5 minutes today. So we've talked about dopamine, we've talked about procrastination. Let's talk about the role of mindset in motivation. Your mindset determines how you respond to challenges. If you believe that you're not naturally motivated, I don't know who is, by the way, but if you believe that you're not naturally motivated or that failure is a dead end, you'll struggle to stay engaged. But if you developed a growth mindset where setbacks are seen as opportunities, motivation becomes more sustainable. So how do we begin to shift our mindsets? The first thing is to challenge negative self-talk. Stop allowing yourself to say, I can't do this. And in fact, the next time you want to say, I can't do this, replace it with, I'm learning how to do this. Next, reframe setbacks as stepping stones. Instead of wallowing around with your Eeyore spirit, turn the I failed to what can I learn from this? Number 3, surround yourself with motivated individuals. Energy is contagious. Being around people that are driven will push you to stay engaged. There's so much power in our words, and many are careless with what they say. Try this. Write down a self-limiting belief, one that you have about yourself, and try the exercise of reframing that exact belief into an empowering statement. Put it on your mirror and say it every morning when you get up to brush your teeth. Now that you understand the science, let's put it into action. We're going to go through 6 practical strategies that you can implement today. First up, set clear goals. Break them down into actionable steps and set deadlines. Number 2, create a visionary element. This can be a vision board. This could be a letter that you write to yourself in the present tense. But visualizing your goals reinforces your motivation and primes your brain for the success. Next, use habit stacking. This comes from James Clear. Pair a new habit with an existing habit. After I make coffee, old habit, I will write for 10 minutes. New habit. Next, gamify your progress. Make it fun. Turn tasks into challenges. Track streaks. Set milestones and reward yourself. Make it a game. 2 more. Find an accountability partner. Sharing your goals with like-minded people increases commitment and follow-through. Lastly, leverage your environment. Design your workspace or daily routine in a way that naturally encourages productivity. Now it's time for action. For the next 24 hours, choose one task that you've been putting off. Break it into smaller steps. Set a reward for completing it. If you need to, use the Pomodoro technique or the 5-minute rule and get started. Come back and share your experience with me in the comments. I would love to know how it felt and what worked for you. The only way to be motivated is to create a system that supports it. Are you ready to trick your brain into success? Start now. If you enjoyed this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if this is your first time watching me, don't just sit there, join the mission. Hit the subscribe button, all the while remembering that growth is a journey, it's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.